So we're in the studio doing some afternoon light, and this is the standard Provia film profile. You can see that the window behind me is totally blown out, and I'm actually using my LED light over there to provide some fill light. And it quite clearly, next to my C300, this does not have the same amount of dynamic range because I've done basically this very similar shot and I've held a lot more outside the window. Well, let's go check out F-Log. All right, now we're in F-Log, and this is a pretty mean test for the camera because I've actually got the sun coming in the window, and I can just see it hitting the bottom of the lens, so it might make a interesting lens flare. We're certainly getting those energy orbs, I mean flakes of dust that are out of focus in front of the lens, right? And it definitely has a bit more dynamic range, and we'll see what this looks like once it's graded. This is classic chrome, and it's a pretty cool look. It's contrasty. Dynamic range isn't too bad. I'm looking at the monitor that I've got right next to the camera, so that's where my eyes are wandering off because I'm trying to check what I'm seeing since, well, you can't flip that LCD around for a quickie check. Oh yeah, look at that wonderful lens flare that I've got going on. The sun has crept up. It's covering about 2/3 of the lens now. We're definitely past the center point. And it's a really nice lens flare. Not surprised we're blowing the background out a bit more, but this is the Eterna setting. Now I'm going to use myself to block the sun. And it's a really nice look. I'm trying to watch myself in the monitor here. I'm still using the LED on the side here. That's giving me a little bit of fill light. I mean, there is a window here, but there's also a LED panel light that is bounced off the wall with diffusion just to kick this side open. And you know, this is pretty nice. If you had to do a quick turn project and you just needed the hand files out of the camera ready to go, maybe you might be tempted to play around with the saturation a smidge, but I don't know. It's really nice. It's really very, oh, we have to use that word, film-like, and it's just an absolutely wonderful image right now. Wow, come on. How could I not use that lens flare? I mean, even if the autofocus, I got the autofocus set to my face in the center here, so let's see if we can get it to lock. There we go. So the question is, you know, maybe this doesn't quite have the dynamic range of some of the other cameras, but if it makes an amazing, I gotta watch. If this makes an amazingly great image, maybe it doesn't matter so much if we're losing some of that window detail, if the image coming right off the camera on the card is just this amazingly nice. One more time with F-Log, I figure if we're going to torture test this camera, let's just go for the absolute extremes here. And this is F-Log again. I wanted to test this in probably about the most extreme sort of shooting situation that you could have. The entire lens is getting hit with direct sunlight right now. And you get the camera, I'm watching myself get the camera to hit focus here. I've got the box set in the center. I'll forgive the camera if it's not really tracking the recognition perfectly well with getting lens flare into it like that. This is kind of cool because I can just put my own shadow like right across the center half of the lens and just tweak this flare to my heart's content and go full on with that. And let me slide across. And we're back to Provia, the standard setting. And yeah, this is really nice too. We kind of came and went the full circle of having the sun in the shot or not in the shot and watching what this is doing. I did turn the sharpness down a little bit on the camera. I just think that the 0 setting is just too overcranked. I mean, there's still so much sharpness in this image that I think I went to -2. There's still, it's very good, very plenty. So one more take, and in this take, I've moved the shadow setting from 0 to -2, which should theoretically lift the blacks a bit, and it's giving me a little bit. I definitely have the highlights set to -2, and honestly, I don't think there's any reason to not uh, set them there, because even at 0, you're losing a little bit of dynamic range. So unless your intent is to in camera blow out your highlights, which actually could be a good thing if you've got really ugly stuff outside your window and you're trying to make it go away. This is still a remarkably pleasing, good image. And for anything that you just had to hand somebody the shots and say, here, go edit and deliver, this is almost a grade-free image, which is kind of amazing to say that, because we've all gotten so used to having to fiddle with images on log color space and this and that, and to just get something out of the camera that, again, maybe this is a smidge red to some people's liking, or maybe the blacks of contrast could use a touch, but, we're talking little adjustments. We're not talking about, doing a lot of work. I think that's an incredible advantage to this camera and the footage that's coming out of it. And we're using the long GOP setting because that edits a lot easier than the all iframe. So I haven't seen really that much difference with it, certainly not with clean footage. We'll just kind of let that go. Now, of course, this camera also begs the question, do we need to start putting some diffusion on it because it's just too sharp? Okay, fine. This is black and white. I had to go there. The two settings are very similar. The second one's a bit less contrasty. It kind of has that nice sort of the sharpness of T-Max, but a little bit more of the tonality, I think, in the upper tones of Pan-X, but still very contrasty, very pleasant. You can see that in the highlights back there, we still got a little bit of the trees and stuff going on just beyond the window. Now the sun is just creeping out, but yeah, it's left hitting the lens. It's just hitting the corner of the lens now. So we enjoyed that marvelous, well-timed, perfectly timed light. So leave a comment down below. I'm really looking forward to exploring the image capabilities of this camera. If they ever build a cinema camera based on what's in this thing, give it some good connectors, you're going to have something that's just going to be absolutely phenomenal.